Are you at liberty to mention some of your customers? Or you are under confidentiality for obvious reasons?
Exactly. We've got confidentiality clauses that we have to really appreciate or respect. And but I think it goes without saying that, sharing the numbers that we can always qualify is most important. So you talk network providers, we've got over 55 network providers in our facility in Nairobi. You talk of the banks, like I was telling you, over 50% have trusted us and �𝐃𝐄𝐒, and this is thanks to that long history of us offering 100%
So you cover across industries.
Yeah. You talk of the cloud providers whom we were mentioning. Anyone consuming Microsoft Azure services, you're consuming that outside of from within this data center facility.
Interesting.
And we are in discussions with all the top tier cloud service providers because we understand what their plans are in terms of their rollouts in Africa. So that's how it comes here. In East Africa, we are their number one preferred choice, and that is because of that digital ecosystem that we already have in place. But I would say, again, the high availability that we've been able to achieve at the right price to our customers. So we understand that, and we don't take it for granted. I know we've got other players that have come into the space, but I think that advantage that we've got in terms, that first move advantage is something that has really pushed us hard and keeps on pushing us harder, because the continuous improvement is something that is always at a priority for Africa data centers.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I've been in this industry for better part of 25 plus years. So I've seen across the board the different segments of the industry evolve. In the late 90s, when I was working for one of the digital agencies, 3 Mice Interactive Media, we used to buy server space from Rackspace in the US. Yeah. And one of the things that used to irk us the most is how internet data had to get out of the country and then come back. Thank God today we have internet exchange points, both local and regional. What role do data centers like ADC play in this? I hope it's okay to call it ADC.
No, ADC, yes. Yeah.
What role do ADC and other data centers play in these exchange points, and how critical are they to ensure, number one, cost is brought down, number two, we have high speeds with very little buffering, especially for high data connections?
You're spot on that, in the absence of data center facilities like what we have, what ADC has in Africa and other players as well, really then traditionally we've been consuming content from outside of this continent, so to speak. So yes, we used to use an international link to upload our data to a data center that's sitting in Europe. And we also use that international link to access the same data and access the same service. What we've done as Africa data centers, or the data center players in Africa have done, is to resolve that issue by way of now putting data center facilities that can be trusted to offer the same kind of services within reach. And when I say within reach, it eliminates or reduces the dependency on international connectivity. So today, anyone probably consuming a cloud-based service from Africa has an opportunity and has a very high chance that you'll be potentially consuming it from a data center that's within the continent. And that really just reduces the cost, because international connectivity is something that comes at a very high price.
Correct.
But for me, in fact, what I always say is the biggest price is latency, because latency can be the differentiator. Just in case you're actually wanting to access some medical funds through mobile money, in case you had to tap onto a server that was to authenticate that in Europe, when you need to pay a hospital bill in Nairobi.
Correct.
So there are things that we take for granted. Latency is key for that HR officer who is actually wanting to help somebody out so that they can actually maybe do an interview virtually.
And most stuff is
so there's a lot
hosted virtually today.
Yes. So for us, that bit around appreciation that latency is key, is something that we have come to the party with a solution, because we've then eliminated or reduced that latency incredibly by having data centers that have eliminated not just the cost but also reduced that latency.
Break down latency for my non-technical viewers.
So latency is really the amount of time that it will take for you to then access a digital service,
okay,
or a digital content.
Okay.
That digital content can be internet. You remember the whole that old time when you used to click on was it Yahoo, and you have a circle on your screen that goes on for probably 3 minutes or so.
Those days of dial-up, you used to plug that thing in, go serve yourself coffee, come back, is still doing that thing.
Yes, yeah.
So that's latency.
So that's latency. So reducing that is something that, has been reduced to a point that I think we no longer really appreciate it.
That's true.
That's just the
we
reality.
have come to accept it as a matter of course.
Exactly. Yeah.
Done. This is super interesting for me. I hope my viewers are also glued to their chairs or couches, listening and watching this. What has it taken to get ADC here? And talk to us a little bit about the holding company that owns Africa Data Centers and the vision of the founders and the shareholders and the board of this super interesting African conglomerate.
Thanks a lot. So really, this is a journey that we've been into for a very long time. Just last year, for our East African operation, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary with our customers who've trusted us from coming from zero. So really, we started off as a telecommunications company. That was way back. When I talk about the Kenyan context, that was as Kenya Data Networks.
Yes.
Then, of course, it changed hands to 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐄𝐿 Investments. But then 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐿 Investment was an IT investment company that I think I was part of that whole team that, underwent that acquisition, or that merger and acquisition. And so I think they really had a rough time, navigating through the telecommunications landscape, being an IT investments company. And sometime back in 2013, 2012, we then had this opportunity of Liquid Telecom, which is then a telecommunications company, seeing an opportunity in growing their network infrastructure, because this is an organization that was born in the Southern Africa. But you see, they always had this dream of Cape to Cairo. From as early as 2003. And so at times, one of the quickest ways to expand is really acquiring or, merging with existing operations. So there's an opportunity for Liquid Telecom to then expand its operations into East Africa by acquiring the assets and the business operation that was then 𝐕𝐈𝐃 Stream East Africa. So that happened in 2011, 2012. And beyond that, by them acquiring that, sometime again, maybe 2016, Liquid again was venturing in South Africa a lot more, and it acquired Neutrality. And on them acquiring Neutrality happened to have a data center asset or data center assets that were sitting in Johannesburg and Cape Town. Same way when they were acquiring KD and the other data center sitting in Nairobi. So Liquid Telecom came with this experienced hand in terms of telecommunications organization management. But the other thing that was also very good was their understanding of the expectations of a data center operation. So that is how comes they intentionally hived off the data center business
as a standalone business.
And this was done purposely so that we can meet our customers' expectations by being carrier neutral.
Carrier neutral. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yes, so carrier neutral just means in as much as the organization or the data center business was owned by Liquid Telecom, we in no way pushed for the condition that if at all you are hosting your infrastructure, for that service that you are hosting in our environment to be accessed externally, then you must only use Liquid Telecom's network infrastructure. That is a prohibitive way of growing your data center business. So for us, we made it open and gave an opportunity to Liquid Telecom to have the same chance of offering connectivity as Safaricom, as Jamii Telecom. So we made it really open, and that's how comes, we've grown that ecosystem.
How's that journey gone?
So well, it's
So
actually
you can truly say you are career neutral.
we are career neutral by all means and ways, because the way we operate is something that has been demonstrated to our customers.
Okay.
That we are indeed neutral.
Okay.
What I always feel is our competitors might at times want to question our neutrality,
Yes.
or bring in acronyms like we have data centers that are more neutral than others. But for me and the team that we have, we would rather be judged by our customers. And customers have really, in all honesty, seen our neutrality when it comes to the connectivity space, when it comes to the cloud space, because
That's
we host
fantastic.
different cloud service providers. They've even seen our neutrality on the IXP space. So in terms of that, communication engineering or traffic movement, we also push for neutrality on that perspective as well. We would rather all these organizations see us as that very trusted party that gives them an equal chance at thriving, because that's what a digital ecosystem should do.
Absolutely.